if it did come down to an open competition between Jacurri Brown, Emory Williams, and Reese Poffenberger to become the next Miami Hurricanes starting quarterback, who wins and why?
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Truth Teller Tuesday. I'm Alex Donno, your host. I'm a University of Miami alumnus, longtime South Florida sports radio vet, and contributor to allhurricanes.com. And thank you so much to the everydayers for making that Locked On Canes your first listen today. We are available free wherever you get your podcasts. This scared me for a second because someone said we live. I was like, wait, did we hit the live button? Yes, we are live right now on YouTube. So if it's 10:02 a.m., you're watching us live right now. If you listen to the audio version on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you are fantastic. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to Locked On Canes on YouTube. If it did come down to that open competition, if Miami doesn't end up adding a veteran like Taulia Tagovailoa, who you got between Jacurri, Emory, Poff the Magic Dragon, and I will even throw Judd Anderson into that mix as well. And it is a Truth Teller Tuesday, my friends. Bruce Warner joins us here on Locked On Canes. Bruce, are you excited about
year, Locked On Canes, man. Another year. Here we go again. Hey, it's exciting. Look, we got Orville Redenbacher as our quarterback. I mean, what do you want? I mean, is that what his name is? What the hell is his name?
Reese Poffenbarger. Put some respect on that man's name, all right?
Yeah, all right.
And listen, Bruce, and you and I were talking off air yesterday, Bruce. Before Cam Ward became the guy everybody wanted in the transfer portal, he was an FCS quarterback a couple of years ago.
Right.
Shedeur Sanders used to be an FCS quarterback.
Right.
You pointed out to me that Kurt Warner was bagging groceries, and he ended up being a Pro Football Hall of Famer.
Yes. So who knows? I've never seen him. I mean, I did see some film yesterday, and I was watching it at the same time my friend Mark Caesar was watching it. And Mark says to me, "Hey, man, look at that pocket. I don't see anybody chasing him." Actually, he said, "I don't see any brothers chasing him." So, I don't know the level of competition up there, but they're bringing him in. He's got a shot. All three of these guys have a shot, I believe. Of course, two of them have been here and they know Dawson's system. But yeah, it's Albany film. I know what it is. But I want to give a shout out to this Jeff Lynn's ELO 224 tour because I'm a big ELO fan. So whoever that is.
Yeah, I saw him in the live chat. Here he is, Jeff Lynn's ELO.
Whoever he is, man, I like that music. And they have a new tour that just came out from a couple of weeks ago that's live. I've been watching it on demand. And it's pretty cool. I like it. Love that band. Anyway, so now we have three guys in there. One coming off a bad injury, Emory Williams, but it's not
to his non-throwing arm, though. Could have worked.
That shouldn't be a problem at all.
Yeah.
And then we've got a guy who we thought was leaving the entire season, and Jacurri had a pretty damn good ball game. Didn't have any help from his wide receiver. Number 3 dropped that right in his hand. I mean, I saw that ball. I saw this frozen rope go right to his hands.
It was perfect.
And all the things that we were worried about, getting the ball deep, having some touch, right in his hands, and he dropped it. And he had a horrible game, Jacoby George. But Jacurri did well. Now he's in the mix. Now he's got the big upside. And I saw your little poll that he's kind of pretty much far ahead because nobody really knows Reese. But we'll see. At least there's competition in the camp. I wouldn't be surprised if any one of those three wins it. None of the three would surprise me at all.
Yeah, and listen, I will note that at this time, we don't know if these guys will be competing for the starting job or they might be competing for the backup job because I talked about this yesterday on the episode where we introduced Reese Poffenbarger to Miami fans after he committed to the U. And Miami, they would still, I have reason to believe Miami would still take the opportunity to add someone like Taulia Tagovailoa if they can do that. But, they weren't just going to wait because we don't know how long the NCAA is going to take to decide on his waiver. And there's a chance that they could decide against giving him the waiver. So Miami had to go out and get somebody. Now, with Reese Poffenbarger, I definitely see a lot of upside, and I think he can definitely compete, whether it's for the starting job or the backup job. But, these are the quarterbacks that are in Miami's room right now. I put it out there on our Locked On Canes X account, put this poll out there. Who would win an open quarterback competition to be the starter in 2024 between Jacurri Brown, Reese Poffenbarger, Emory Williams, and Judd Anderson. Obviously, the incoming true freshman didn't get a whole lot of love there. And Bruce, most of the people out there say Jacurri. He definitely, when it comes to the physical tools, being 6'5", around 225, he's got that running ability that he has. He's got a very strong arm. He's working on the accuracy and the timing. He's clearly made some progress between what I saw from him in spring football and the fall scrimmage, between what I saw from him in that Rutgers game. Jacurri is developing. He's getting a lot better. He's got just tremendous upside, Bruce. I would also say Poffenbarger has a lot of upside, but since he's coming from FCS, he's not going to get as much respect. But then with Emory Williams, I'm not going to sleep on Emory either. If I had to pick one out of these 3 or 4, I would probably lean to Jacurri Brown as well to win that job, as most of the people have voted on. But I'm not sleeping on Emory because, he gets thrown into the fire last year, Bruce, against the 2 best defenses Miami faced. Like, the 2 games that he started last year were against Clemson and against Florida State. They kept the playbook very buttoned up for him. Didn't have very good completion percentages or stats, but he played with a lot of poise and he made some big time throws in both of those games.
Well, a couple of things. One, I'm just going to throw something out at you. If Tua's brother does transfer here, are you saying he's penciled in as the starter or not?
I believe he would be. And listen, they can call it a competition or whatever, but based on the fact that he started 4 years in the Big Ten and he's played against the Ohio States and the Michigans and the Penn States of the world, he's got experience through the roof. I believe if they were to add Tagovailoa, he would be the starter.
All right, so out of those 3, whoever does win the job, I'd be happy with it because that's going to be a heck of a competition. That's 3 guys. Now, we just saw Jacurri. So that's fresh in our head. We haven't seen Emory in like 2 months. And we saw what Van Dyke did the last 3 years. So if they pick one of these 3 guys, I'd be happy. Again, I don't know Reese at all. I've never really seen him play. I'm just taking your word for it. I did see some tape, but that's neither here nor there. He's got to beat these guys out in competition here in South Florida. What does it say? What does that say about
this? So a couple weeks ago, Larry Bluestein, who watched the UNLV quarterback who's going to Georgia, so he says, "Hey, you said the UNLV quarterback wasn't that good, yet he's headed to Georgia. Was that to cover up another myth by Mario?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, at that time, we didn't know it was going to be Miami. I don't think they went after Maava for whatever reason. I don't think Miami went after him. So listen, obviously Kirby Smart's a pretty good talent evaluator. We'll see how that works there. If Maava even ever starts at Georgia, who knows, right? The same way Miami's adding depth with Poffenbarger, Maava might never see the field. He might be a depth guy at Georgia.
Right. We don't know, but this is a good point, Eduardo. These are the things that I like to bring up. I like to challenge people. And, not just take things at face value. You did say that. I bought it. These people probably bought it. And now he brings this up. But you know what?
If Kirby Smart had been watching Locked On Canes, he probably wouldn't have added that kid.
Sure he did. But you know what? There's a lot of heat on Mario now. I'm sorry. And the 2 great recruiting classes. But this thing with Ward has really soured a lot of people on his decision-making. Mm-hmm. He still has Dawson here. We don't know, but I've always been someone that has taken what the fans say seriously. Because I remember 10 years ago with D'Onofrio and everybody was complaining. But as someone who talks to these guys that are in the street, former players, guys like Luther Canal, all these guys, these kids don't want to play defense like that. They don't want to stand 10 yards off the ball. I was watching a game once with Dwayne Starks, and there's Bruce, where's our defenders? They're not even on the screen on the television set.
The Georgia Tech game under Al Golden. I remember that.
Yeah, man. So you just can't do stuff like that. So you know what? He's got some heat on him now. I don't care how long his contract is. He's not going to be unscathed in this if he blows this quarterback stuff. Right?
Yeah. Obviously, you got to get this right.
You don't want to say anything bad about him. All right, I'll leave you alone.
You're talking crap. What do you want me to say? He's got to get the quarterback thing right. Let's see how it plays out.
You got to.
Yeah. Right. Well, and also the important thing is, and obviously Dawson has to play a huge part in this. Yeah, it's not just about who you grab; it's about what you develop, Bruce. Because we talk so much about how we really like these young quarterbacks in Miami's room. Emory Williams has a ton of potential. Jacurri Brown is developing. He's already got the elite athleticism and running ability. He's got to get his quarterback abilities as a passer to match up with that. And Judd Anderson has a lot of raw tools to develop. So it's not even just about going and snatching Cam Ward or Will Howard from the transfer portal. The challenge on Miami now is you've got to be able to take the young quarterbacks that you have and actually turn these guys into something. And to be fair, and this is not just, a Mario thing, because this has been going on here for 20 plus years, Bruce, the inability to develop quarterbacks properly. That's been a problem that spans back several head coaches at Miami.
Let me ask you this, though. Excuse me. So why didn't we just saw Jacurri play for the first time in over a year, because he didn't play in the season. He played last season. So if he would have played this season, and I don't know what transpired behind the scenes, only what I heard, that he asked to not play. Can you imagine how good he would be by the end of the year if he played this season with all the problems Van Dyke was having?
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much better he would? We wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah.
So when I say it's up to him, I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened, but his kid's sitting on a bench. He's got Emory Williams playing garbage time the first couple of weeks. This kid never got off the bench. He plays in a ball game, and he did pretty damn well. What would have happened had he played all year?
Well, the question is, why didn't he play all year? Well, why? Because nobody knows for sure whether that was – because some people say that was his decision, that he didn't want to play, that he wanted a red shirt. Yeah. I don't know if that's the case. Other people say, hey, the coaches just thought Emory was better, and that's why he was the second stringer. The truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. Now, we do have a new national champion crowned. Michigan, scandals aside, they just had an awesome year on the field. Off the field, it was a circus. On the field, Michigan just had an incredible season. And I'm sure Mario Cristobal was watching that game last night, Bruce, salivating. Yep. Because the Michigan Wolverines won a championship the exact way Mario Cristobal would like to win championships. We're going to talk about that and so much more. You want to keep it locked, my friends, right here to this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. Hey, guys, I know you're keeping it locked to our good friends at Jase Medical. They're doing amazing things out here. Let me get this visual up there for you. Boom, we got the website, the code word, and everything. Guys, I know we come to sports to escape from some of the crazy realities of life, but let's just talk for a second about preparing for real life. According to the FDA, pharmacies are running out of antibiotics like amoxicillin. I can't imagine a more helpless feeling than if my wife or my son got sick while a supply chain issue might keep them from life-saving medications that they need. Thankfully, we're going to be okay because of Jase Medical. The Jase case, I've got one behind me, guys. It's a pack of 5 different antibiotics to treat a long list of bacterial illnesses, including UTIs, respiratory infections, sinusitis, skin infections, among others. This stuff could happen to any of us, guys. Visit jasemedical.com, J-A-S-E medical.com, and complete your physician encounter. It's going to be reviewed by a board-certified physician, and your medications will be dispensed by a licensed pharmacy at a fraction of the regular cost. It's never been more important to be prepared than today. Go to jasemedical.com and use offer code LOCKEDON, all one word, locked on, to get $20 off your order. Thank you so much for making this Truth Teller Tuesday episode of Locked On Canes your first listen today. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're available free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So, Bruce, Jim Harbaugh, he's an alumnus of the school where he coaches. Yeah. Mario Cristobal's an alumnus of the university. Harbaugh, I hope it doesn't take this long for Miami, but it took him 9 years to win a championship at his alma mater. Some patience was required. Obviously, Michigan's been very relevant the past several years in a way Miami hasn't been, but it took Harbaugh 9 years to build a championship team there. And he built that championship team through the trenches, Bruce.
Yes, he did.
Overwhelming Washington and their competition throughout the season at the line of scrimmage, running the football down your throat, rushing the passer, pressuring quarterbacks constantly. If I'm Mario Cristobal and I'm watching that game like last night, I'm saying that is what we're building towards, right? When you look at the defensive line class Miami just brought in for the class of 2024, the offensive line class that they brought in last year, 2 5-stars on the O-line last year, 2 5-stars on the defensive line, and a ton of edge guys this year. I'm not saying Miami's close to being what Michigan was this past year, but I am saying that at least Michigan showed that building a roster with that blueprint, that can win you championships in this day and age, that
Right.
sort of team can be a winner. That should be encouraging for Miami fans.
Right. They didn't have Andre Johnson, Reggie Wayne, Kellen Winslow, Shockey, Portis, Gore, McGahee. They didn't have any of those guys, and they still won it. But you have to have it in the trenches. And from the first moment of the game, they dominated the line of scrimmage. Washington's defense looked like children. They just mauled them. And those were some of the weirdest runs I've ever seen. The running back would get the ball, move over left or right. He'd see a hole, and he's gone. There was no defenders there. Once they got it past the line of scrimmage, they were gone. They toyed with them. Then, Washington had some chances when it was 2013, but it was not a great game. I thought it was a dominant performance by Michigan.
It was.
Except for a few brief periods. But, Washington's got away, and now they're going to lose a lot of players too. Yeah. And Penix probably lost a lot of money last night.
Yeah, well, it's a deep quarterback class, so there's not a lot of margin for error when entering a class like this. When you got the likes of Caleb Williams, Bo Nix in the class, Cam Ward, of course, is trying to vie to be a.
Some of these guys have been there 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of the guys, our listeners or viewers, saw this, but Jordan Travis is represented by our friend Melvin Bratton.
Really? Oh, good for him.
I texted Melvin. He represents 2 or 3 other defenders, and he represents Jordan Travis. And I actually saw some prediction that he goes to the Giants in the 6th round. I'm not a Florida State fan. We all know that. Yeah. We aren't either. But I'd like to see the kid get drafted, and I'm happy for Melvin because I like Melvin.
Yeah.
I'm still going to try to get him on the show. I'll get him. I just know he's busy, but I'll get him.
Yeah, he's especially this time of year, if he's got guys preparing for the NFL draft. It's a busy time of year for Melvin. But it also, I was having a conversation with my pal Rudy, who's been on the show a few times, former Sebastian the Ibis, and he follows the program very closely. And he pointed out to me that this is also, what Michigan did last night can be a recruiting tool for Miami, right? That, Mario Cristobal can go into living rooms and say, hey, we're following that blueprint. Look at what we built in the line of scrimmage. In fact, Miami's, taken some guys who were in Michigan recruiting classes and flipped them to Miami over the last couple of years. Like, we're trying to build our team the way that they built their team. And you can see that what Michigan did this year is what I envision Miami being in the coming years. So that can help you in recruiting as well.
The guy we took last year, he's already gone. The big defensive line.
Yeah, Collins at Chiampong.
Yeah, so he's out already. We got him from Michigan.
Yeah, we did.
And here's the beauty of we got Chalupa back. Hey, what's up, brother?
That's our guy.
I like that guy. I want him to come on with us one day. But I understand what you're talking about, the inside out. That's what really that's what Jimmy had. Back in the day, which we always talk about. They had 8-10 D linemen. When a guy like Jimmy Jones, who played on the teams in the late 80s, early 90s for Jimmy, becomes a 3rd-round draft pick in the NFL of the Seahawks when you're a backup at Miami, that tells you a lot because Jimmy Jones was spectacular, and he couldn't even start at Miami. So it goes to show you that's what they're trying to build now. That's what they need. But a lot of these guys, there's 10 of them, you say, right? They're all going to be freshmen next year. Mm-hmm. We only have a few vets coming back. Bain, who's only a 1-year veteran. So some of these guys.
Still, I would take that 1-year veteran over 90% of the defensive linemen in the country. I don't know if
you know about Messidor. That could be a major.
He's coming back.
He's coming back.
Yes, he is.
Got to stay healthy though.
Well, that's another question, but he is coming back.
And the other guy who's got to come back and be healthy from the get-go is Arroyo. Royal's got to be healthy because we saw in the bowl game how important these guys are. Yeah. We have to have all these guys healthy, all of them, and you got to hope that's just luck if you're injured. But I think that he's got the right people. They have good receivers. We still don't have the big receiver, but that's okay because we have so many guys that could take the ball to the house, just catch the ball, right? A lot of these kids can do that, and I just hope they improve themselves. And Riley Williams got to improve himself. Mm-hmm. He's got to bulk up.
Expand on this a little bit because we got a question from one of our Locked On Canes insiders Ood Red, who asks us what position group are we most concerned with Miami heading into next year. I mean, I've definitely got question marks, Bruce, because they're safeties, just because there's a lot of turnover there. You know, you're losing two guys to the NFL in Cam Kinchens and James Williams. I'm a little bit worried about safety. You know, even though the defensive line is pretty young, I'm not too concerned about that group because I've already seen Guidry and his scheme work some miracles there because they had no depth last year and they were really good up front. I'm not really concerned about linebacker. Cornerback could be a little concerning to go along with safety. So the defensive backfield.
Savion Riley? What do you know about him, if anything?
About who?
Savion Riley. He's probably going to start.
Savion Riley, the safety from. Well, the thing is, he played some. I think he's pretty good. A lot of the projected depth charts have him winning a starting job, but there's definitely some competition there because he's just more experienced than other guys. You know, you've got like Markeith Williams in that mix, Caleb Spencer in that mix, but I think Riley should be pretty good. But listen, some of this,
good, but he's small, he's frail. You know, I don't know the answer to that. How many times did we see Cam Kinchens and James Williams get burned? Yeah, they had some great plays. I'm not saying that's why they're going to be drafted. But I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if maybe Riley may make less mistakes and be more consistent and not make some of those special plays. But maybe instead of intercepting, he'll knock a ball down. Or he won't be in the wrong place at the wrong time. So we don't know yet. But I have to trust the secondary. Plus, Guidry's a secondary coach. Safety coach, actually.
Yeah, so, he is, exactly.
You know, they have some bodies in there. Well, we also have Zaquan. So I'm expecting he's going to get some burn in practice too.
Actually, you know what? As I'm thinking about this, to answer the question of what position group are you most worried about, I'll also throw a quarterback into that mix, Bruce. I mean, you know,
quarterback. Of course. Yeah. Of course. Hey, listen, this is an off topic. Are you allowed to go to those practices? You're not allowed. You're allowed to be someplace else. You have to stand in the back someplace.
Yeah. So how it works is they usually let us watch about the first 30 minutes, which is a lot of stretching and individual drills. That then we have to leave the facility, you know, because they don't want us reporting on formations and plays that they're running, which I can respect. Like some media members are like, how dare they keep anything secret from us? We are entitled to watch everything. Like, I'm not one of those snobs who are like, this is too secretive. Like, whatever, man, show me what you want to show me. We can talk to people after practices, but yeah, we usually get to watch about 30 minutes, take some pictures, and then they skedaddle us out of there.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. So are you happy with what happened with the quarterback situation? Or are you just disappointed? And we have somebody
disappointed. Yeah. Disappointed. Being real, I'm disappointed. And this is not a knock on Poffenbarger, but how can I not be disappointed when a month ago people were under the assumption, because too many people listen to Twitter insiders, right? But people were under the assumption that Miami's either getting Cam Ward or Will Howard, and one or the other is going to be a Kane. Like, you go from that to the only guy they brought in so far is an FCS quarterback. So I'm disappointed, but it's also like my grade is still an incomplete, right? Because I think they're still trying to get Taulia Tagovailoa if he becomes available, Bruce. And also, like, I want to let's wait till spring football and at least kind of see what Poffenbarger can do out there.
Well, of course, you have no choice but to wait. But still, we kept on talking about a veteran and then some young stud with a big upside. Neither one of those things happened. Neither one of them. And so
you don't think Poffenbarger could be the young stud with the big upside, though? Why not?
How many more years? 2?
He's got 2 more years, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see. Yeah. You might be right. Listen, I don't know this guy. It's not exactly the prototypical size and school that we wanted to get a quarterback, but I can't pass judgment. I'm not a quarterback.
All right, I want to answer a couple more questions from you guys, from the live chat and from the Locked On Canes Insiders chat. People are wondering, is Miami still going after a quarterback, and where do things stand? They want to know what's going on with the James Madison quarterback. People want to know non-quarterback related, who is Miami going after? Because I think the Canes are still trying to get some things done in the transfer portal. You don't want to go anywhere, my friends. You want to keep it locked right here on this all-new episode of Locked On Canes. And I know you're keeping it locked to FanDuel. Championship game is behind us in college football, but man, we still have the NFL playoffs going on. and they're not even started yet, guys. Super Wildcard Weekend coming up. There's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is so easy to use, and there's so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explore tab. You can make a parlay in the Parlay Hub. That's the best way to find popular parlays, and so much more. If you're a Miami Dolphins fan, you're looking at the Dolphins 4.5-point underdogs in Kansas City this coming weekend. You can take a look at props and all sorts of things at FanDuel. And guys, you want to check this out. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Thank you so much for making this Truth Teller Tuesday episode of Locked On Canes your first listen. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Make sure you check out Locked On Sports today. Locked On has launched the first ever 24/7 streaming sports YouTube channel. Always something going on at Locked On Sports today, so check that one out. We get a question from Herq, who says, hey, why did they bring in Poff to compete with Little Tua instead of bringing in the James Madison quarterback to compete with Little Tua? So with the profile, the James Madison quarterback, Jordan McLeod, he would be the either or with Tagovailoa, not the either or with Poff, because Jordan McLeod only has 1 year of eligibility left. So that would be you either bring him in or you bring in Tagovailoa. I don't know if there's been any progress on this, Bruce, but I did see that earlier this week, Matt Shodell from Kane Sports said there's nothing finalized, but that there could be a chance that Miami tries to bring in Jordan McLeod for a visit this weekend, but it's going to depend on all the other factors, right? Miami has added Poffenbarger. I don't think that affects their pursuit of an older guy. Miami, I'm sure, is monitoring the Tagovailoa situation, but I think there is a chance they could get in the James Madison quarterback for a visit still.
Yeah, and it looked like that Saban was trying to help him get here because he realized he made a mistake, and he's trying to blame it on himself for putting him in those games.
Yeah.
By the way, we talked about this, or you mentioned his name. This Chris Brown says Markeith Williams is great, just needs to add 20 pounds. So remember last year when I went to the practice the week before the spring game, and I threw out some names, and Markeith Williams was one. He was all over the field. And I just said a few minutes ago, without realizing this is what Chris wrote, he's thin. He does have to add 20 pounds, but he can cover. And he's
tall, he can cover. Yeah.
Yes, he needs to gain weight. So he's right. And I think that's an excellent point on Chris's part.
100%. Yeah, he's tall, lanky, he can cover. He's just got to add a little bit of size and power. Yeah. We get a question. This is from our guy D Lane, who says, I'm not even going to ask you anything quarterback related. We already know you're getting a gazillion of those questions. He's not wrong about that. He says, my question is, what position does Miami try to focus on next, if any? So Bruce, I definitely think defensive backs, which honestly, I'm not going to pass too much judgment on the Antoine Jackson situation because I don't claim to know more than Miami's coaches do, but on a personal level, I'm really disappointed, Bruce, because I know Antoine loves Miami. I don't know if they just maybe made a decision that, hey, he already spurned us once. This is the tone we want to set. I don't know what it was, but I like him. Yeah.
Come on already with this nonsense. He had a girlfriend there. He was 16 or 17. Come on.
Yeah, he was 16.
Now the kid wants to come back. You've taken other people back. You're willing to take other people back. Come on, grow up already. Yeah. My goodness.
I was disappointed with that.
If that's true, that's sad. That is sad.
Well, here's the he was told that they don't have the spots. And I know Miami does have big time scholarship limitations. They've got more than 85 scholarship players. That's okay until you open up the season. You have until the season opens to trim your roster down, but they have to be really selective with their scholarships right now, Bruce. And so, whether it's a numbers issue or a personal issue or a combination of both, I think the official word is that they did not have a spot for him, but I'd still like to believe they try to add a defensive back.
Make a spot. They've made spots for other people. Don't use that as an excuse. They don't have a spot for him. He's better than all these guys, probably.
Yeah.
He played last year, right? He didn't just sit on the bench.
He played. He started more than half the games last year.
Okay, so bring him back.
Yeah, I wish they had. He's going to UCF.
Oh, he is. Isn't
Yeah.
that lovely?
He's going to UCF. Yeah, so
And so
that
is
ship
the
has sailed.
Arkansas quarterback, right?
KJ Jefferson. Yeah, they're building a little team out there. They're trying to compete in the Big 12, unlike last year. Didn't work out that well.
They can compete in the ACC the way we're going.
And the other position, Miami definitely needs. They need to add a veteran wide receiver. I know that they're interested in CJ Daniels from Liberty.
Right.
You know, I would have liked to try to get their quarterback as well as a package deal, but he's staying at Liberty. Did you see that, Bruce? Yeah.
Yes, he put his name in there and then he's out.
Yeah, I think it had to do with his transcripts and academics, though. I don't think he could make the jump he wanted to make.
Choice.
Yeah.
Now, you know what? The tight end from Bishop Gorman, everybody's raving about him, but he's slight. He's only 215. I don't see him playing next year. I mean, if he gets slotted, maybe, but I don't know if he's going to play tight end. Not at 215. Skinner didn't. Skinner, by the way, is still in the portal.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah.
He's still in the portal. What happened? From Alabama to us to not even be able to find a team. Wow.
Yeah, I remember at one point, this was like 2 weeks ago, Auburn was sniffing around with him. But I'm guessing if Auburn wanted him, they would have taken him by now, like if they really wanted him. So
there has to be something other than what happens on the football field. I can't imagine this happening if he had his nose to the grindstone, was working hard, just couldn't break into the lineup. But there's something wrong here. I don't know what it is.
I mean, it might be a football thing. I mean, he's never built up his power and girth the way that he wanted to. So,
of course not.
Yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate everybody for making Locked On Canes your first listen today. By the way, as SP says, he's going to be 225, and he is early enrolling. So you remember like how much weight like Ruben Bain put on last year during the early enrollment process. I think there's hope for Lofton. All right, I appreciate you guys so much. Make sure to smash the like button. Subscribe to Locked On Canes on YouTube. Thank you so much to the Truth Teller for joining us. And we're not done today. I'm going to do another episode later on today, going a little bit more in depth on the national championship game from last night with our guy Raymond, who's going to join us later on. So you guys want to keep it locked. Bruce, enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
Thank you. You too, buddy. Be well.
We will talk to you guys again next time on another episode of Locked On Canes, part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.